Hey, what's going on? My name's Mitch, and this is the story of how I went from being fat to running 50k races. Well, my first 50k, which is actually it's in about a couple of weeks. I think it's about a month and a half now. And this is my story, and I hope that you can get something from it and maybe inspire yourself to pursue that goal that you've been putting off, or maybe take up running or some other physical pursuit that you've always wanted to do. So basically, I left the Navy. I was in the Navy between the ages of 18 and 24, and in that time I was always super fit, super active, and pretty standard military guy. I exercised multiple times a week, PT'd, lifted weights, ran. I ran a half marathon back when I was in the Navy, and basically the story is what a lot of ex-military people get themselves into, which is they leave the military and they stop exercising and they get fat because their standards are no longer held up to those standards of military life that has, you're comparing yourself to other very fit, very active people. So I left the Navy, and you go through quite a somewhat stressful time in that you're reorganizing your entire life. You're no longer identifying with a job or a uniform anymore, so that has its own stresses. And basically I just got fat, and if you looked at the thumbnail, that's a photo of me. I don't know exactly the time frame, but it was shortly after I left the military, and it was pretty fucked. It was not a good time, and I was pretty depressed. I was pretty unhappy. So from that point, obviously, you have enough suffering in your life. You have enough. You're so down on yourself after a period of time that you go and take action on that. So basically I got myself a trainer and started hitting the gym again. But so I got myself a trainer and I smashed through a bunch of weight training, conditioned myself, but wasn't exactly getting to that level of fitness where I wanted to be at. So continued that, but then I think a big motivator for a lot of people and for myself is I just put the money on the line and I signed up for a marathon, which was in Australia. It was the Canberra Marathon, which is the capital city of Australia, which nobody knows about because it's like the lamest capital city in the world, but the capital of Australia is not Sydney. So I signed up for the Canberra Marathon, and basically I was super lazy and I didn't really train for it. I continued lifting weights, smashed personal bests, ended up lifting a 180 kilo deadlift, which was good. I don't know what that is in pounds. And anyway, ran this, got to the point where I was, very conditioned. I was basically a bit of a power lifter in a bit of a powerlifting routine, and trained off and on for this marathon. Anyway, day of the marathon, super not conditioned for this race, and ran it very poorly. Ran this marathon in about 6 hours. So I did it. It was my first marathon, but I was pretty disappointed with that. Anyway, so again, I think a key here that we'll keep going back to is that it's important to just commit to something. If you're gonna pursue a goal, you need to commit to something. You need to put, whether it's your cash or your time or some investment towards that, because if you just talk about it and it's all, you don't have any accountability to it, so you really need to be accountable to this goal. And it's important with any goal that accountability needs to be, there needs to be consequences to it. So whether you go and do a Facebook or an Instagram post that all of your friends can see that says, which I actually did, which is probably why I just didn't stop running in that 6-hour race, because 6 hours on your feet is not a good time. So go and put a post on Instagram or Facebook and just tell everyone what your goal is. That way, if you don't do it, then everyone's going to be basically looking down on you, and I'm sure your ego's probably not going to let you just not follow through with this goal. Or you can invest some money into it. That way, you've got sign up fee for something like a race, or depends what you want to do with your life, what goal we're talking about. But in the sense of physical activity, put money towards a personal trainer, put money towards signing up for a race, or a triathlon, or whatever it is that you want to do. And with that, you'll have that buy-in to complete that goal, which is what I did. So I then signed up for a couple other races, and the idea of just pushing through when you don't want to do something, that's so apparent to running, because how many of us, when we're in a bit of a depressive state, or we've got a bit of extra weight on our bodies, or you're not feeling the best, who of us wants to go and run 10Ks or 20Ks, or do some of these training sessions that it's going to be a grind, but if you've got a goal that you're working towards, you're going to do it. So I think running's excellent for sort of building that mental toughness. Anyway, completed a half marathon. Then just recently I completed the Sydney Marathon in Australia, which was a great run. If anyone wants to do it, recommend it. You get to run across the Harbour Bridge, which is pretty cool. In this whole sort of journey, if you want to call it that, I've basically dropped about 15 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds. I think it's about 30 pounds, maybe just over 30 pounds. And now I'm in about 6 weeks time, I'm going to run this 50K, which I hope that you'll all be here with me to see how that goes, because I've cut over an hour off my marathon time, and I'm really keen to see what my first ultramarathon is like. And basically, if you push through the resistance that you're going to get for your training or your running or whatever it is, you're going to be able to accomplish those goals, and which is exactly what I'm going to do. And I want to show that to you, because I've signed up to a 100-kilometer race in the Blue Mountains here in Australia, and that's taking place in May next year. So we'll hopefully you can follow me in completing this race, or training for this race and then completing it. So 100 kilometers, I think that's about 60 miles or 60 something miles. So this is going to be this 50K is going to be a grind, and it's going to be good. And I really want my ability to cut all this weight, and I want you to take away from this that the fact that put some accountability stops in place if you're going to try and do something like this, because very rarely are you going to really, genuinely, really, you're not going to be able to motivate yourself, just yourself. We've all got shitty negative self-talk that we do to ourselves. A lot of the time we've got negative people around us. We've got people who are going to detract. They're going to see you trying to better yourself, and they're going to try and detract. They're not going to really want to see you change. So you need to, whether it's chucking money towards it, accountability, surrounding yourself with some good people, some really tried and true. It sounds obvious, but actually do it. Don't just listen to this and not do it. Actually invest in yourself. Actually go and find yourself a trainer. Go and find yourself a running coach or whatever it is. Surround yourself with some quality people who are going to support you. They want to see you grow because they're growing as well. They're not just, dwindling their life away, not trying to achieve something. So, in me doing this race, I really want to motivate others to maybe run an ultramarathon as well. Maybe run their first marathon, their first 50K, or after I do this 100K, I can talk some shit about running, proper ultra races. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you a bit of inspiration. Yeah, if you want to look at those before and after photos, they're in the thumbnail, and I think, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, and I think that everyone else should really be striving for something more as well. So I'll see you next time, and thanks for listening.